Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, and we are back with another video. I don't know what I'm going to start calling this, because I don't know if it is the rumour mill or maybe something called like Trending Leeds or something like that. But we're obviously going to be talking about everything that's going on with the Whites at this moment in time. I try to keep this up sort of as consistently as I can. But listen, still a little bit deflated. Are you? Let me know in the comment section below. Tough weekend. Obviously, I had the video yesterday, which has got a lot of divided opinions on there. I was shooting from the hip. I still stand by everything I said. There's a few people who've questioned my support for Leeds United, which is a bizarre conclusion from me reviewing a game. Listen, I'm fully behind Marcelo Bielsa from this Leeds United side. I will go to Ellen Road. I will go to away games and support the cause, support Leeds United. Of course I will. I'm not writing us off after 4 games. You can't write us off after 4 games, but when you review the Liverpool game, you have to contextualise it, and you have to bring in all the other games that Leeds United have played this season, and whether or not A, the results have been good enough, and B, as a subsequent action to that, the performances have been good enough. Yes, we played 2 world-class teams, of course we have, but in my personal opinion, both of those world-class teams could have scored 8 or 9 goals, which just simply isn't acceptable, no matter what sort of stage you're at in the Premier League. The other 2, listen, as I said on the video, Everton was a half-decent performance. Still, we didn't conjure that many chances. I thought Everton was still the better team, really. And I also thought Burnley edged it, to be quite honest with you. So what I need to see from Leeds United, as simple as you can put it, really, is a performance. I'd love a result. Of course I would. Easy said than done at this moment in time. But overall, I want to see a performance from Leeds United. I want to see what I saw at the back end of last season, which was an energetic, a sizzling side on the ball, and a team that sides were terrified of, to be quite honest with you. And I'm just a little bit worried at this moment in time. Leeds seem not the same Leeds at this moment in time. And it is 4 games in, which is what I continued to say yesterday as a caveat. I continue to say as a caveat, it's 4 games in, and you have to, as I said at the start, contextualise that. But anyway, guys, let's get into the meat and grind of the video. Now, Nahitan Hernandez is still being spoken about. Now, there are several publications this morning reporting that Leeds United are continuing their interest in Hernandez. Apparently, he was part of a long list, and Leeds are allegedly, according to sources this morning, looking at a £20 million deal for the midfielder in either January or the summer. Now, the midfield is a problem, isn't it? Nahitan Hernandez, a combative midfielder, would he sort that issue? We know now, once again, that Adam Forshaw is injured. And I think what we've seen at this moment in time during the season is a real lack of protection for Kalvin Phillips. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was sort of growing sick of it. Not in terms of being part of this Leeds United side and loving the club and loving everything about, you know, the wonderful nature of Leeds United. But I mean, just in terms of the midfield, he looks so much more exposed than last year. And that's obviously the quality of opposition that we've faced. But I also feel at this moment in time, with the Rodrigo experiment, which Bielsa is continuing with, and even Stuart Dallas in there at this moment in time, their performance levels are dipping hugely. So what needs to happen? Well, we all know what needs to happen. Leeds need to bring in a central midfielder. It's that simple. Now, we have a bout now of winnable games. You know, we've got Wolves coming up. West Ham's going to be tough. Southampton coming up. Newcastle coming up. Leeds United we need to get wins. It's dead simple. We need to get points on the board. Now, panic stations not as yet, of course, not as of yet. That just simply can't happen. But criticisms of the performance, a lot of it is coming centrally, isn't it? Teams are exposing us centrally, and when we do get it out wide, it's not as fluid, it's not as dynamic, it's not as efficient. The chances, the chances even taken by this Leeds United side at this moment in time, I mean, the chances created are minimal, but the chances, you know, converted as well at this moment in time are really lacklustre. But everything from that midfield, the most important part of a team for me, is just not been executed. And I think we need someone in that midfield to really shore things up. The Conor Gallagher experiment would have been brilliant. I know a lot of you guys don't like the Conor Gallagher chat. Let's move on. And you're right, you know, allegedly Leeds bidding 13 million. Phil Hodgkinson said, the chairman of Huddersfield Town, Leeds bidded 13 million For Lewis O'Brien, that was not back. Well, Lewis O'Brien, even in this in this system at this moment in time, I think would do actually really well. Someone who's steady on the ball, someone who's defensively strong, someone who is press resistant. That key phrase that we all sort of hear and we think, oh, there's a trigger word, but it is true. Someone who can move between the lines, and Leeds really missed a trick there. Someone like Naheed Hernandez, I don't really see him as that individual who we need at this moment in time, and he hasn't got the key word. And what is that key word? Versatility. Naheed Hernandez is a stronghold in the position that he's been moulded into over the years, and I think someone like Lewis O'Brien could be moulded, once again, another key word, with this Marcelo Bielsa system into a player with an arsenal of skills in that midfield, and we need that at this moment in time. There's been a lot of talk this weekend as well, rumours circulating. I think it started with City Chief, and there's a lot of the mill starting at this moment in time of Kalvin Phillips being scouted by Pep Guardiola at this moment in time. And listen, 25 million, that's the reported fee, which is an absolute joke. But Kalvin Phillips, it doesn't matter if we were seventh or eighth in the league, or if we were sixth in the league. He's going to be touted by top clubs at this moment in time. He is now a stonewall, a mainstay in that England side, which is going to find him, admirers from across the globe, really. Not only club football but international football. You're getting so many eyes on Kalvin Phillips now. He's played in a Euro 2020 final at this moment in time as well, and he's a top class operator, and he's stepped up again. Every single season he gets better and better, and you don't think he can do, but I think the experience with England has helped him massively. And I was saying yesterday on a stream I was on that his partnership with Declan Rice is so steady, it's so unequivocally good in that midfield for England in terms of a defensive capacity and allowing our attacking players to go forward. There's people who don't like it, but Kalvin Phillips and Declan Rice facilitate that. They've got such a good partnership that when he comes back to Leeds, it's almost like that goes out the window and the solidarity is just absent, and it's just him on his own. And I think it must be such a transition from England to Leeds in terms of quality, obviously, but just that protection that he gets from Declan Rice from the opposition coming forward. But Man City is, they're looking at a defensive midfielder at this moment in time. You look at Fernandinho, who's going to be on his way out very, very soon. I hate to say it, but Manchester United looking at a defensive midfielder. You've got top clubs around the world at this moment in time. Bayern Munich been another one who are looking at a defensive midfielder. And when you look at someone like Kalvin Phillips, you look at where he is in his career, you look at how good he is, you look at the improvements that he's made, you look at the improvements overall to his game that have been facilitated by the great one, Marcelo Bielsa, you're going to get a lot of clubs sniffing around Kalvin Phillips, and I think Leeds are going to have to stave off some serious interest this summer for this man. I think he's going to be subject to bids that Leeds maybe haven't seen before. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens, to be quite honest with you. Do I think Kalvin Phillips will stay at Leeds? I do, yeah. But it's going to be interesting where he sees his career going, because at this moment in time, Leeds can offer him European football. But could Kalvin even play higher than that? You look at what he's doing, as I keep saying, at an international level. Could Kalvin apply his trade in the Champions League? Yeah, that's a question, isn't it? I mean, how good he was in the Euros and how seamlessly he fit in to that England side amongst world-class players. I mean, it vindicates it, doesn't it? But that's going to be interesting to see. But I think, if you're looking at Kalvin Phillips, you're looking at upwards of 70 million, which is going to be a positive for Leeds United. But 25 million, you're laughing out the door, really. But it's one of these things at this moment in time where you're going to get the top clubs sniffing around him, and that interest is going to gain, because if this Leeds United side cannot he was superb last year, but you also had other superb players there. Stuart Dallas was unbelievable. His statistics were fantastic. Bill Ayling was absolutely fabulous last year. Rafinha, incredible. Harrison, off the charts. But at this moment in time, Kalvin Phillips is standing out because he's upped his level. And at this moment in time, the Leeds players are not even at the level that they were at last year. So Kalvin Phillips is looking insane. Not that he's not, but and a lot of clubs are going to be looking at that and thinking, could he be in a better side? It's going to be a really interesting development, isn't it, with Kalvin Phillips over the next year Do I predict that he'll stay at Leeds? I do, but Leeds need to start, we need to start matching his ambitions a little bit, don't we, in terms of just the squad stepping up and showing him that we can get higher than 9th and all this sort of stuff, because that's what it's going to take, guys. That is what it's going to take to keep the top players at this club. We keep talking about a 13th and a 15th place finish, but to keep all of the top players at the club, we're going to have to be finishing higher than that. And that leads me on to Rafinha. There's been more talk this morning out of several publications from the Liverpool side that Rafinha is being monitored heavily by Liverpool. Now, you look at that Liverpool side at the weekend and they were just fabulous. What a team, what an incredible side, and they're definitely going to be challenging for the Premier League title. I think if we were to talk between Kalvin Phillips and Rafinha, if one of them is going to go, you look at the Leicester blueprint when, Mahrez went and Maguire went and Kante went, they had to do that. They had to do that to stay afloat as a club in terms of that top level and reinvest and obviously bring such top dollar in. Leeds are going to have to do that at some point. We're not just going to be able to keep hold of our best assets and develop and develop and develop. That's not a business model. That's not how it works. So at some point, Leeds are going to have to sell one of the big hitters. And I would say that Rafinha, dependent on where Leeds finish, dependent on, we've heard what he said, which has been fantastic about how he loves the club. And I might be wrong, but Rafinha is one that, maybe if a Liverpool did come knocking with a big valuation, it'd be fascinating to see what would happen there. How he would respond to that, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below as well. I'm not for one saying that he's going to leave, and I think even if we got a year out of Rafinha, it'd be fantastic. But it's going to be fascinating to see what happens with our two boys, isn't it? And when we're talking about Nahit and Nandez at the start, and we're talking about Lewis O'Brien at the start in terms of midfield operators, are those the sort of players who Leeds are going to be going forward and investing in if we do sell on one of our big hitters? Because that maybe is what it takes. But, you look at it overall, Leeds do have money. We splashed so much money on Dan James. Apparently behind the scenes, Leeds did want to bring in more bodies, but obviously it's up to the big man who he wants to bring in instead. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens, guys. And it's a discussion video. Obviously we bring up rumours, but I want to discuss them with you. That's what it's all about on this channel, discussion and topics and all this sort of stuff. So let me know what you think in the comment section below on the forum. Please like the video, guys. What do you think of Kalvin Phillips at this moment in time? Do you think he's standing head and shoulders above everybody else, and do you think the interest is going to be more focused on him because of that fact, and obviously because of England? Rafinha, do you think we're going to be able to keep hold of him for the next couple of seasons? How do you rate Leeds United in terms of where we're going to finish, and if we keep hold of these assets, where can we then finish? So let me know in the comment section below, guys. Fascinated to hear what you think this morning. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There'll be more content coming out on the Patreon as well, and obviously throughout the week, guys, there'll be so much more coming on One Leeds. Stay tuned, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in a bit.